Hello there, welcome to the Andes Public Library Story Time. I'm Miss Pam. Thanks so much for joining me today. It's Wednesday, November 25th, 2020, and happy Thanksgiving to those of you who celebrate. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. It will be a strange Thanksgiving this year. I know my family is staying home in our house. We got a little sick last week, so we all had to be tested, and we're waiting for those results, and then I had to close the library, but here I am just getting some work done, some paperwork done, and I thought I would read you some Thanksgiving stories and stories about being thankful. So we have The Squirrels Thanksgiving by Stephen Kroll, illustrated by Jeni Bassett. We have This First Thanksgiving Day Accounting Story by Laura Krauss Melmed, illustrated by Mark Buehner. We have Giving Thanks, a Native American Good Morning Message by Chief Jake Swamp, illustrated by Erwin Printup Jr. Maybe we'll do that one last. And Bear Says Thanks by Karma Wilson and Jane Chapman. So let's read The Squirrels Thanksgiving. The night before Thanksgiving, Mama and Papa Squirrel and their two children, Brenda and Buddy, were relaxing in front of the fire. You know, Mama said, Thanksgiving is such a lovely holiday. We have so much to be thankful for. Papa was rocking in his rocking chair. It's true, he said. We have our friends in our home, and of course, we have our family. Buddy and Brenda stopped shelling nuts. Brenda glared at Buddy. That afternoon, when they'd been counting acorns for Thanksgiving, Buddy had knocked Brenda's off the table. He had also gotten glue on Brenda's fur while they were making pilgrim placemats for the table. Brenda wasn't thankful for Buddy at all. Buddy glared at Brenda. Earlier that day, they'd been gathering nuts for Mama's nut bread. Brenda had lagged behind and dropped her nuts all over the ground. She had also put big marshmallows on the sweet potatoes when he had wanted little ones. Buddy wasn't thankful for Brenda at all. Well, children, said Papa, it's time for bed. I hope that tomorrow you will show how thankful you are for one another. And, said Mama, you should be thankful for your Aunt Nellie and Uncle Herb and your cousins Penny and Chuck. They're coming for Thanksgiving dinner. That night, Brenda tossed and turned, wondering how she could show he was thankful for her brother and for her relatives she didn't know. Buddy, of course, wondered the same thing. The next morning, Buddy and Brenda bumped into each other in front of the bathroom. Please, said Buddy, opening the door, you first. Brenda couldn't believe what she'd heard. Buddy always ran into the bathroom before she did. She spent an extra long time brushing her teeth. Then she went down to breakfast and poured Buddy a bowl of cereal. Thank you, said Buddy. When the family went out to the car to go to church, Brenda jumped into the place Buddy had been promised in the front seat. Buddy was about to say something mean, then he remembered it was Thanksgiving. I hope you'll enjoy your ride, he said to Brenda, and slunk in the back. Buddy and Brenda were behaving so politely that Mama and Papa Squirrel were smiling happily when they reached the church. They all marched up the aisle to the front pew and waited for the service to begin. They had to wait a long time. Buddy and Brenda began to get restless. Buddy leaned over and started making gargling noises at Brenda. Brenda made gargling noises back. Shh, Mama, cried Mama Squirrel. Both of you, stop it. Buddy and Brenda settled down, but the service still didn't begin. Buddy leaned over and pinched Brenda on the leg. Ow, she said. She pinched Buddy back. Ouch, he screeched. All right, said Papa Squirrel. Enough's enough. Remember what Mama and I told you about being thankful. When the service began, Buddy and Brenda tried to remember the good things about each other. They were quiet and behaved. After church, they all piled into the car and drove home. Aunt Nellie and Uncle Herb and the cousins Penny and Chuck were waiting at the hollow tree. Happy Thanksgiving, said Papa Squirrel. We're so glad to see you, said Mama Squirrel. Brenda and Buddy smiled at their cousins. Do you want to come see our toys? They asked. Penny and Chuck didn't answer. Instead, Penny stepped hard on Buddy's toe. Chuck gave Brenda an elbow in the ribs. Ow, said Buddy. Cut it out, said Brenda. Papa and Mama glared. Buddy and Brenda looked at each other. How could they be thankful for their cousins? They were mean. Well, said Mama Squirrel, it's time to eat now. Let's all go inside. A big bowl of nuts and acorns was in front of each place. There were serving dishes filled with cranberries and squash and sweet potatoes topped with big marshmallows. In the middle was the loaf of golden brown nut bread Mama Squirrel had baked that morning. I think I might bake some of that this afternoon. Let's join hands before we begin, said Papa Squirrel. Penny put her hands behind her back. I won't hold hands with Chuck, she said. I won't hold hands with Penny either, said Chuck. Brenda grabbed at Chuck's hand. Buddy grabbed Penny's hand. Papa said grace, and the meal began. Buddy dug into a thick slice of nut bread. He began eating his squash. Suddenly, Penny dumped a pawful of nuts down his back. Hey, said Buddy, stop it. Now, Penny, said Uncle Herb, that is not the way to enjoy Thanksgiving dinner. You might prefer eating it instead. Penny paid no attention. She turned and dumped some acorns down Chuck's back. Chuck pulled her tail. Then he pulled Brenda's tail, too. Ow, said Brenda, that hurt. Jeez. Chuck jumped up and knocked over a pitcher of cider. This has gone far enough, said Papa, mopping cider out of his lap. Yuck, said Brenda, our cousins are really awful. They're much worse than we've ever been, said Buddy. I think we'd better leave, said Aunt Nellie. We'll come back when our children can behave. We'll call you later. After that, they all left. Mama and Papa Squirrel sat down once more with Buddy and Brenda. What a relief, said Mama. Now we can enjoy our Thanksgiving in peace, said Papa. At least I hope we can, said Mama, looking at Brenda and Buddy. I guess I do have a lot to be thankful for, said Brenda. Buddy's really not so bad. At least we can do things together, said Buddy. We can shell nuts and count acorns and make placemats. Let's have another blessing, said Papa Squirrel. They took each other's hands. Thanks for this good food and our good family, said Papa. Thanks for Buddy, said Brenda. Thanks for Brenda, said Buddy. And they all ate their delicious Thanksgiving dinner. Okay. I guess that's why the kids usually get a table by themselves at our house. Traditionally. Not this year. Okay, this first Thanksgiving Day accounting story. One dressed in linen, sitting in a tree, dreaming of the tall, strong ship on which he crossed the sea. Two dressed in deerskin, gathering nuts below, giggling as they tiptoe by, too shy to say hello. Three in the garden, pulling up some roots, turnips for the pottage pie, and parsnips for the soup. Four helping father catch fish in the bay, some to dry for winter time, and some to eat today. Five in the forest, searching as they roam, finding sticks to light the fire that keeps them warm at home. Six stepping softly with small bows in hand, following a rabbit's tracks across a patch of sand. Seven fetching water, run with pails to fill, then walk home with careful steps so not a drop will spill. Eight on the sandbar, working as a crew, digging for some tasty clams to make a steamy stew. Nine in the cornfield, bringing in the maize, sowed with care as Squanto taught last spring on planting days. 10 making baskets by the fire's glow, weaving slender cattail reeds while singing soft and low. 11 rejoicing in the autumn sun, laughing, shouting, playing tag, their chores at last all done. 12 tables groaning beneath the harvest spread, Wampanoag and pilgrim friends together will break bread, joined under one sky with one prayer to say, a prayer of thanks for all they have this first Thanksgiving Day. Thank you. All right. Bear says thanks. By Karma Wilson and Jane Chapman. He's skedaddling in his cave. All alone in his cave, Bear listens to the wind. He is bored, 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 and he misses his friends. Gee, I think we can relate to Bear, can't you, this year? I could make a big dinner, a feast I could share. But he looks through his cupboard, and the cupboard is bare. Then Mouse stops by with a huckleberry pie, and the Bear says, "Thanks." Bear says, "Goodness me, a delectable pie. But I have made nothing," he adds with a sigh. Then they hear hi-ho, and they both see Hare with his big batch of muffins at the door of the lair. Hare hurries in from the cold, rushing wind, and the Bear says, "Thanks." "Of course," said the Hare. Then he points to the door. "Here comes Badger. He's got even more." "Brrr," says Badger as he tromps inside. He sets down his pole and he smiles real wide. "I'm back from a stroll at the old fishing hole," and the Bear says, "Thanks." Then Gopher and Mole tunnel up from the ground. "We have warm honey nuts. Let's pass them around." There's a flap and a flitter and a flurry in the den, when in flutters Owl with a raven and wren. We have pears from the tree and herbs to brew tea. And the Bear says, "Wait." Bear mutters and he stutters and he wears a big frown. Bear sighs and he moans and he plops himself down. "You have brought yummy treats. You're all so nice to share, but me, I have nothing. My cupboard is bare." Mouse squeaks, "Don't fret, there's enough, dear Bear. Don't need any food. You have stories to share." His friends hug him tight. "It will be all right," and the Bear says, "Thanks." They lay out their feast on a quilt on the ground, and the Bear takes a seat while his friends gather round. In a cave in the woods in the warm, bright lair, the friends feel grateful for their good friend Bear. They pass around platters, they tweet and they chatter, and they all say thanks. All right, and lastly we have Giving Thanks, a Native American good morning message by Chief Jake Swamp, illustrated by Erwin Printup Jr. So, this is an author's note. The words in this book are based on the Thanksgiving address, an ancient message of peace and appreciation of Mother Earth and all her inhabitants. These words of thanks come to us from the native people known as the Haudenosaunee, also known as the Iroquois or the Six Nations, Mohawk, Oneida, Cayuga, Onondaga, Seneca, and Tuscarora. The people of the Six Nations are from upstate New York and Canada. These words are still spoken at ceremonial and government gatherings held by the Six Nations. Children, too, are taught to greet the world each morning by saying thank you to all living things. They learn that according to Native American tradition, people everywhere are embraced as family. Our diversity, like all the wonders of nature, is truly a gift for which we are thankful. So a lot of our town words and county words are the Six Nations. To be a human is an honor, and we offer thanksgiving for all the gifts of life. Mother Earth, we thank you for giving us everything we need. Thank you, deep blue waters around Mother Earth, for you are the force that takes thirst away from all living things. We give thanks to green grasses that feel so good against our bare feet, for the cool beauty you bring to Mother Earth's floor. Thank you, good foods from Mother Earth, our life sustainers, for making us happy when we are hungry. Fruits and berries, we thank you for your color and sweetness. We are all thankful to good medicine herbs for healing us when we are sick. Thank you, all the animals in the world, for keeping our precious forests clean. All the trees in the world, we are thankful for the shade and warmth you give us. Thank you, all the birds in the world, for singing your beautiful songs for all to enjoy. We give thanks to you, gentle four winds, for bringing clean air for us to breathe from the four directions. Thank you, grandfather thunder beings, for bringing rains to help all living things grow. Elder brother sun, we send thanks for shining your light and warming Mother Earth. Thank you, grandmother moon, for growing full every month to light the darkness for children and sparkling waters. We give you thanks, twinkling stars, for making the night sky so beautiful and for sprinkling morning dewdrops on the plants. Spirit protectors of our past and present, we thank you for showing us ways to live in peace and harmony with one another. And most of all, thank you, Great Spirit, for giving us all these wonderful gifts so we will be happy and healthy every day and every night. So, all right. Well, happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you are grateful, and we are grateful for you, and I am grateful that you tuned in today. So I hope you enjoy your traditions. Maybe you'll make some new traditions this year, and be safe and be happy and be healthy. Have a wonderful week. Thanks. Bye.